probably using it to charge your car. And we're going to be fitting this, and we're going to use the alternator charger and set that up.
And a fantastic home backup. It's expandable.
Hello everybody, hope you're well. This video is all about this, the new EcoFlow power unit, and we're going to be fitting this Delta Pro 3 into my mate's camper van. So we're going to show you how quick and easy it is to install this, what a monster of a unit is, and we're going to use the alternator charger and set that up. And we're literally in the middle of a field with a few tools. So this is like a plug and play system for electric system for a camper van. So this will do all his 12 volts and all his mains, so all his DC and all his AC. So this alternator charger couldn't be easier to use and to install. It comes with all the cables you need. This is the mains cable that goes to the van starter battery, and in line with that it comes with a fuse. This is a Renault Master camper van, or it will be a camper van, Renault Master van, so the battery's down here. So thankfully we can run the cables just behind here and under here to this unit. And then from this unit you get another cable. What have I put with it? What have I done with it? Oh, the other cable's here, which plugs into this unit. And these can be used with a lot of EcoFlow units, not just this massive unit. Any EcoFlow unit that has a capacity to expand the battery, it uses that socket to charge it. So this does come with a fuse in line, and this is a 125 amp fuse. So all you need to do is undo this 8 millibolt here, put the positive lead onto there, screw it back on, and then that goes to the positive side of the van starter battery, and that goes to the negative side of the van starter battery. And then the intelligence in the actual unit, in this unit, knows when the battery is up to power. So when you start the van you lose a bit of power from your starter battery. This understands that, and then when it's up to power and there's enough power coming through it, it'll take the power from your battery and boost it to give 800 watts as the engine's running to charge your EcoFlow unit. But the other clever thing with this as well, through the app, if your starter van battery goes faulty, you can use the app to take the power from your power unit through to your battery to start your van, which is very unique to EcoFlow for an alternator charger. Fantastic piece of kit. This on here is a far right coil. So that's just on there to take some of the frequency noises out. Likewise with this one here. So the main thing you've got to do when you're setting this up is have a rough idea of where you're going to run your cables. This van belongs to my mate Bob, and he's going to put cabinetry in and tables and all the other bits and pieces. But we're going to put this in first and leave the cables loose so he can move them around to decide where he's going to use it. You can use practically everything once the actual unit's switched on through the app, so he doesn't have to physically get to it apart from switching it on if he wants to switch it off when he's not using it for some time. And then everything else, you can switch the AC on, the AC off, and the DC on and the DC off through the app and see how much power's going in, and if he's going to link it to solar or anything else. It can all be done through the app. I'm really keen to show people how easy it is to install a system like this. So we're using an adjustable spanner and a set of torque keys, and everything else we should be able to do with just that. So I'm just connecting this side of the mains positive lead to the battery onto the fuse. There's a washer and a split washer, and then we need to put this 8 milli nut back on. It doesn't have to be super tight, but you don't want it moving around. Just make sure that one's tight. And then the little cover goes back on top. And now we're ready to connect these to the battery, and this will have a smart alternator on this, and it's not a problem. The old-fashioned systems used to struggle with smart alternators, but the gubbins in the actual unit can control that. It's not a problem. There we are, positive and negative onto the battery, and we're going to sort these out and route them through here. And as I say, when Bob builds his van, he can decide where he wants it, but I think the cables will probably run under here, where some of the original cable needs to go. And there's quite a long cable on this, and it's got a protective sheave on it as well. Now this unit has sockets on for expandability, but you need to use this adapter, which you can get from EcoFlow, that fits into here, like so, clips in, and then the alternator charger plugs into there. So apart from locating this, where this is going to be, and that's dependent on where Bob actually puts this power unit, there is screws on the back, and it comes with a bracket so you can fasten it to the bulkhead of your van or on the wall or wherever. Now for his 12 volt side of stuff, this has also got a 12 volt outlet. So here's the 12 volt outlet, which is 30 amp, and you just literally plug this in here to a fuse box. And then Bob, when he puts his wiring in, or his diesel heater or anything else he wants to use off 12 volts, fridge, anything, he wires it into that fuse board. And that's basically set up. Obviously you've got to run the cables and put the light cables in and everything else, but that is the system set up. So we'll get Bob to start his van in a minute, and you'll see 800 watts going from his alternator through his battery to the alternator charger to charge this unit up. There we are, straight away 800 watts input from the alternator charger. How clever is that, and how easy is it? Bob's just downloading the app now, and we'll have a look at the app. This is the EcoFlow app, and as you can see, the van's running, putting 800 watts into this and charging it nicely. And this is where you can switch your DC AC on and off. You can switch the unit on, and you've got all your other settings on here as well. So if you want the beep on and off, if you want the screen brightness changing, just about every conceivable thing you can change and add. And of course you can do the firmware updates as well. If there's a software update that comes available, you do that through your actual phone linked to your unit. This is on the power boost mode, so this gives it extra power. So if there was a appliance that would need some additional power, very unlikely, you can put it onto the boost mode, which would give it that additional power, but not needed at all. And then also within the app, link to the DC to DC charger, the alternator charger, and this shows how much power is going through, how it's working, and also it enables you to look at your maintenance and to charge and reverse charge to get your battery started if your battery goes flat. So this is clearly showing how much power is coming out your alternator here, and this is how much power is going into the unit. And again, there's endless amounts of settings on this, and software updates if needed. Really simple, easy to use app. But if you don't want to use that, you can use all the buttons on the front here as well. But having this app in this format is a really good way of doing it, because you can run everything you want to from having this out the way in the van. You don't have to have access to this. So regards wiring up the AC side of stuff, all I've done in my camper van is, when this is located wherever Bob decides to put it, he'll just run a cable with a 13 amp plug-in to a socket or a number of sockets. There's a number of plugs on there, you can do it individually or like this to an extension lead. But I like this idea because I have one of these in my kitchen. It's plugged into this, I can switch it on and off with the app, and I don't have to do any wiring of mains. It's just a simple extension lead like this. And this one also has USBs on it. So as well as having your 12 volt side that you can wire into USBs and anything else you want to, you can do, if you want, just have one of these and have your USBs on the top of there as well. And we literally fitted that in 15 minutes. One adjustable spanner and a torque screw to undo the cover to get to the battery, and that was it. Simple as that. It'll be interesting to see how Bob gets on with this as well, because if you look here, it will take 2,600 watts of solar. So he's not got a big van, but he'll be able to fill his roof full of solar as well if he wanted. But with that alternator charger banging out 800 watts as it is, it'll probably be okay. He probably won't need any solar on the roof. This really is do anything, anywhere piece of kit. Welding, let's have everything on full. A couple of big chunks of steel there to stick together. It'll weld that no problem whatsoever. Didn't even hesitate. So using saws, grinders, welding plants, no problem whatsoever. So if you work in industry where you need good power and you have a camper van or even just a van, you can have this in back of your van, run an extension lead from it and work practically anywhere. They've put some effort into the design of this as well. It's quite stylish. It's got flared arches on here, and the way these open, they open and they also curve and slide back and lock into place. Stylish looking piece of kit, quite space age. Same on that one. Where the handle unlocks and comes out as well. Even like the way they've hidden the vents in here. Same on the back.
This really is a beast of a machine and a fantastic home backup. It's expandable. You can use the auxiliary sockets on the back to plug it into a consumer home unit. We have a relatively straightforward system in our cottage. We live in middle of the North York Moors, in middle of nowhere, and every time there's a storm, heavy wind or snow, the power goes off. So we're forever having the power off. So we have if you haven't seen this before, we have a relatively straightforward system. Here's a transfer switch, so the power outside goes through the meter down here to the transfer switch, out the transfer switch, back up to the consumer fuse box. And out of this transfer switch is a 60 amp lead, which we can plug into various power stations, and it's a great resource for us. And we always test our power stations on this system, because if the inverters are not good, it will flick off the household power safety switches. So I'll just turn the system off, so the power in the house is completely off, and now I'll put it across the generator. So this is kicking in, and this is currently using 2,480 watts. And the main power this is being used for is running an electric agar oven. So that's on at the moment, the internet's on, the TV's on, probably the fridges are clicking in and off. But the power on this, no problem whatsoever, straight over, 2,477 watts is coming out of this. No fans come on, just completely dealt with it.
There's a closer look at the screen, can you see it? There you go. Now obviously if we are having a power cut for a long period of time, we usually get notification from the national grid. We'll switch the agar off and restrict the amount of power we use, and use some of the products that we have in the camper van, like the low voltage, low ampage, kettle, toaster, sandwich maker, etc. But as a beast of a backup, this is just fantastic.
It is a heavy piece of kit, but with this handle on the wheels, it's easy to move around really.
Probably using it to charge your car. Emergency backup for your battery, car battery. It's like having a reserve tank of fuel in the back. And with that kind of output, You can run anything basically on that, as you've seen in the video. It's also expandable, so he would never have to, but if he wanted to, he could expand it as well. And of course, with EcoFlow and a quality product like this, you've got your LiFeO 4 Pro batteries in this, and you'll get 11 years out of this, 4,000 cycles. So that's dropping it right down and charging it up. And that, after 4,000 cycles, which is about 11 years, will still give you 80% of the capacity of the battery in it. And of course, quality product comes with a 5-year warranty. They are not cheap, they are quality products, but they are very, very good and so easy to use.